Welcome to the YouTube channel, How to Get an 800 Credit Score. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel, we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, loans, and how to travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back and bonuses. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them. Well, hi, once again. Today we're going to talk about the new proposal that was introduced into Congress. It's called the Emergency Money for the People's Act, which gives $2,000 a month in payments for Americans during this crisis too also as well. So this is being proposed into the United States House of Representatives, and we're going to be going over this bill and how it could affect you, what you can expect from it, and how soon you can start to receive payments, and what are the possibilities of this bill even passing too also as well. And as you can see, the situation, if you live in America, then you know what the situation is like, especially if you live in a state that is being locked down right now and things are closed. People cannot get to work. People are still waiting on their $1,200 stimulus checks to arrive. And some people cannot even receive unemployment at this time, right? So the situation kind of revolves around 22 million Americans that have filed for unemployment benefits in the last 4 weeks. This article was made by CNN Business on April 16th. So just a few days ago, and it just shows how many people are unemployed. They're projecting that as of the end of this week, when they get the new numbers, they should be seeing 26.5 million Americans that have filed for unemployment benefits up to this date. So that is a huge problem, huge issue there, especially considering in the credit card world, which that's what we talk about here on this channel. 59% of American credit card holders that entered the outbreak already in credit card debt. That's 59% of Americans in credit card debt. That's huge. So that equals about 110 million United States adults that have this credit card debt. So this is a very serious dilemma, a serious crisis that we are facing right now as a country. So that's why, I thought that I'd make a video about the current situation and share it with you guys too, and give you my take on what's going on, and remedies in which the government is trying to help out too also as well. And as a result, there are protests, or there have been protests going on all over the country surrounding this, and it's happening in various states, in different states all over the country too also as well. And you can see these people here are out, they're out protesting, and they pretty much just looking for a solution to the problem. They want to go back to work. A lot of people have their different reasons why they're protesting. But as you can see, these people, I really don't blame these people, because they have bills coming in. Just because the country is locked down, their bills are still coming down. Their bills are not locked down. Their bills are still coming in monthly, and they need to be paid. So I could definitely, have empathy, and understand what these people are going through right now. It's a horrible situation to be in, to be honest with you, too, also, because, people are going hungry. On NBC, they said the food banks are being overcrowded. They used to get, one particular food bank, I believe it was in Texas, Antonio, the CEO of the food banks, he said that they were getting 60,000, people in here, or households, per day. And that number has doubled to double that. So they don't even have like enough staff to take care of all the people that are asking for food because people don't have enough food in their house right now. So this is another video here, I guess that Donald Trump had made for it's a campaign ad. I know it's a campaign ad. Some of you may not like Trump, but I'm not getting too political here, but I'm just touching up on the situation, giving you guys an idea of what it's like right now, about what's going on.
Out of that $350 billion fund to help small businesses and its workers get through the shutdown.
It will be up to Congress to restock it. But Democrats blocking that move this morning.
They asked for $250 billion in 48 hours. I said, well, I don't think so. They objected, and I congratulate the Senate Democrats.
Speaker Pelosi, what are you going to share with us from your home?
Chocolate candy.
Thousands have been forced to wait for hours at food banks all across the country.
Oh, my. Chocolate, and we have some other chocolate here. We just got to restock the ice cream.
You don't want to eat up everything all at one time.
I can't do it much longer. I'm trying so hard.
We say enjoy.
Having to admit that, we're starving, and
I like it better than anything else.
There are 22 million people out.
this specific program is about stopping job losses today.
This is hurting people bad.
Other people in our family look for some other flavors, but
Right now, it's survival move. You don't know where that next something else gonna come from.
I don't know what I would have done if ice cream were not invented. I just wonder.
So, I mean, that's horrible. I know President Trump hit Nancy Pelosi very hard. That campaign ad is very damaging. But I like the campaign ad because it pretty much, forget about hitting on Nancy Pelosi. I mean, what I see there is, that people are hungry. People are starving right now, and I guess Nancy Pelosi is out on vacation till May 4th. So Americans, now we have to wait, more extra time, and the bills keep piling up. A lot of people's rents are going to be due on the 1st, not on the 4th. You know what I mean? And people are going hungry right now. So it's a horrible situation, that is happening, that we are going through. And it's so, it's really sad to see it, happening. But hopefully, we'll be able to pull through it. So here is the Emergency Money for the People Act. And this is the proposal that was proposed, into the United States House of Representatives. Again, it's called Emergency Money for the People's Act. And it's basically a bill here. I'll put it up on the screen at the end of the video so you guys can go over it and look at it too, also as well. So it is set up to be payments being made out to households, to people for a 12-month period, to also as well. And this is to be I guess reassessed or reevaluated after the first 6 months to see, where the employment situation is, because this employment to population ratio has to be over 60% for this thing here to end. Okay, so it's a very interesting bill that I've noticed about it. And in order to get the benefits of it, you have to be a citizen of the United States or a resident of the United States too, also as well, or 16 years of age or older. So this is a good thing because the last $1,200 stimulus checks only covered people who were over the age of 17. And if you were counted as a dependent or claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return, that would make you ineligible. But with this particular bill, you would be eligible if you're 16 years of age or older, too, also as well. And you could also receive it whether you're employed or not employed, whether you are entitled to file taxes or required to file taxes or not required to file taxes. You can also receive this money too, also as well. So that's the good thing about this bill that I have noticed to also as well. And also, if you don't have an address, you can still receive payments because the payments can be sent to debit cards like Zelle or PayPal, maybe even Cash App, things like that. Or if you prefer to receive a check, you can also receive checks too also as well. You can have the money direct deposited to your bank also as well. And the difference about this is that they will set up an application where you can actually apply for it if you did not file your taxes in 2018 or 2019. So that's another difference between this and the $1,200 bill is coming here. So it's basically the payments are $2,000 a month for anyone 16 years old or older, plus you get $500 per child that you have, eligible child, and that's up to 3 children. So if you count 500 times 3 children, that would give you $1,500 plus your $2,000 payment, and that will give you $3,500 if you're a single parent. If it's a couple, if it's 2 of you filing, then basically that will double. Instead of $2,000 a month payments, it would be $4,000 a month payments, plus up to 3 children you can get paid for, and that would be plus the $1,500. That would make it $5,500. The only bad thing about this is that if you have more than 3 children, you can only get paid for 3 children. Okay, that's $1,500 pretty much right there. So the bill is pretty much straightforward. And also there is a threshold amount, which basically means that you can receive this if you're making 0 income annually up to $130,000 a year. If you're a couple, then that means you would get $260,000 a year. Okay, so I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, you can make up to $260,000 a year if you're a couple. Okay, so there's not a whole lot to this bill right here, but just if you read through the bill, then you will see who it applies to, who's eligible specifically. I know they said citizens or residents. They also set up a toll-free hotline number also as well for any individual. You can apply for payments over the phone through this 24-hour toll-free hotline, or you can make inquiries regarding, your payment delivery. So if you wanted to know when your payment is coming, you can call the toll-free hotline number there too also as well. So it's a very interesting bill. I guess this was well thought out, well planned, I believe. And this bill was pretty much, based on what they experienced in the last bill. So because of the last bill, for the $1,200 payment checks, stimulus checks, they came out with this bill, and people were realizing that the $1,200 check is simply not enough when you have a pandemic that could last through the summer, or possibly may even last through the end of the year. If it doesn't last through the end of the year, then it's possible it may go down this summer. But a lot of the experts and the CDC were saying that we could end up getting something even worse at the start of the wintertime, when the flu comes back full force, and the new sickness, I don't want to say the word, comes back in the winter too also as well. So I mean, people disagree with that. There's much controversy over that, but that's what they were saying. This bill, the Emergency Money for the People's Act, was introduced into the House of Representatives by 2 congressmen initially, Khanna and Tim Ryan. One is from California, one is from Ohio, too also as well. So it's a very interesting proposal. And I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the video on what I believe the outcome will be of this bill. But we also have strong support of the bill by many people. I'll go over that too also as well pretty soon. Just bear patience with me. Pretty much have some other content I want to share with you. One of the congressmen who first introduced the bill, he feels very strongly about this bill too also as well. And that's why I wanted to share with you a video about his particular perspective of this bill and how it could help people. And he made a statement on MSNBC.
People are concerned about the economy. They're concerned about their own purse strings, their own bank accounts, and the extent to which they can keep their livelihoods going. Here's something I know. With the millions of Americans who've already received this one-time federal relief check in that initial $2 trillion stimulus package, you've introduced legislation that would pay, what is it, all qualifying Americans should be 16 years old, right? You get $2,000 every month. Yeah. Talk about this plan.
Yeah. It's Congressman Khanna and I, congressman from Northern California, $2,000 a month for every citizen who's over the age of 16. Income cap is a couple that makes less than $260,000 a year. We are not addressing the brutal economic impact that's happening on the ground. I mean, part of the protests you see are because of that. Mm-hmm. The deep, deep concern of how people are going to be able to make ends meet. And we can't be timid with this. A $1,200 one-time check isn't going to do diddly for the vast majority of people. What's that going to do for somebody in New York, California, or a bigger city, let alone most people are out there working? And so I believe that if we are really going to, kind of brace people today so they can pay their mortgage, pay their car payments, pay other credit card debt that they may have, and then also have them stable so that when we do get to the testing and we do unravel the stay-at-home orders, then people actually have enough economic wherewithal to go back and help us jumpstart the economy. And yeah, is this going to cost a lot of money? It is. We're already spending lots of money now. But the reality of it is if we don't support working-class people, then the costs are going to be greater because the economic stagnation is going to last longer. And if we don't get this wage continuity right, we're going to be screwed.
How many fellow folks that are on Capitol Hill do you think agree with this? I mean, you're talking about $2,000 a month being provided by the government to almost every adult American that would qualify there. Do you think people on Capitol Hill are going to agree with this? And what do you think it's going to take to get it to the president's desk?
Well, we've got a huge push on social media. The Andrew Yang gang, who was obviously for the universal basic income. This is not universal, but there's a huge push from working class people. I get a huge response from this every time I do a Facebook Live or I'm on TV. This is resonating with people because they need the help. And again, nobody bats an eye when we give a huge corporations like the industry bailout, and then they turn around and United gets rid of all their workers, or there's huge tax incentives in here for real estate people, high-end real estate people. And we just did a $2.3 trillion tax cut a couple years ago that President Trump pushed, where 83% of it went to the wealthiest people in the country. Nobody batted an eye at that. But when you turn around and a guy like me from Youngstown, turn around and say, well, what about the workers? What about the working class people? All of a sudden, the question is, how much is this going to cost? All of a sudden, the question is, look, it's going to cost a lot. We're borrowing money. It's going to cost a lot. We're borrowing money at about 0%. interest right now. And if we can't help the workers now, I don't know when we're ever going to help.
Okay.
So, Tim Ryan feels very strongly about his proposed bill that him and Khanna from California had proposed and introduced to the United States House of Representatives. I mean, it's, I take a few things from that. One is that, nobody, like he said, nobody bats an eye. Nobody bats an eye when they want to give billions of dollars to big corporations. Look at the recession in 2008 under President Obama. Billions of dollars were given out to bail out the big banks, and the big corporations. But how many people actually, how many individuals, people like you and I, actually got bailed out? Hardly none of us really did. We ended up losing our houses, our mortgages houses got foreclosed on. People ended up getting pushed out onto the streets, literally. So this is a good idea, I believe, that Congressmen Khanna and Tim Ryan has come out with. And, pretty much Acacia, Alexis, Alexandra, Acacia Cortez, AOC, I should say for short, also weighed in on this bill too also as well. This bill has a lot of strong support.
What we really need to do, and really that's why these checks.
Mm-hmm. And she really weighed in on this, so just got to give a couple seconds for it to start up. But she has a huge voice and a huge platform there, a representative from New York.
Checks into people's hands is important. I do think it should be universal. I hear the argument of people saying, why are you going to give a check to Bill Gates? One of the things that we're saying is tax it back a year from now. So we don't have to worry about a big, complicated bureaucratic means test up front. Mail them all out to everybody, and let's get them back from the folks who don't need it next year.
And that was a good point that she made there. Let's get it back from the people who don't need it next year. The main thing is that I think the priority should be, like AOC said, is to get them out to everybody, get these payments out to everybody, and if it so happened that these payments got to people who did not need it, then, we'll take the money back next year. But that is one thing that Ro Khanna and Tim Ryan had inserted into this bill, and this is proposal, is that the cap for eligibility requirements is $260,000 for a couple and $130,000 for an individual. So if you make more than $130,000, then there's really no need for you to be receiving $2,000 a month in payments, through this crisis, because they're assuming, and everyone else is assuming, that you are pretty much, well off at that point, that you don't need to be receiving $2,000 a month. She pretty much had hit it on the nail there. But we also have Cory Booker, who is a Democrat congressman from New Jersey, also weighing in on this $2,000 payments and why they should be given out.
So one of the parts of my proposal is to say, make sure that we get cash payments to Americans. $2,000 to begin with to everybody, adults and children. And then every quarter, should this economy stay down, we put more money and resources in. My plan would give us through the end of the year up to $18,000 for a family of four. That kind of money in people's pockets would help to not only help the family, but stimulate the economy as well.
Now, so he's got a really good point there, Cory Booker. When he said, it would put money into the pockets of Americans, and it should be reassessed every quarter. So Cory Booker, I believe, would be strongly in support of this too, also as well. And I think a lot of congressmen are actually supporting this also as well. But like Cory Booker said, we need to get money into the pockets, of Americans. And that's the main focus of the $2,000 bill and what it's going to do. And other people have supported this too also as well, like Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, who kind of introduced the idea a lot earlier. Him, along with also the Yang Gang, Andrew Yang, who introduced an idea of a universal basic income. But let's hear what Senator Sanders had to say about this idea.
Country, in fact, the world are facing an unprecedented series of crises. We're dealing with the coronavirus, which is spreading throughout this country. We're dealing with a growing economic meltdown, of workers in this country. Tens of millions of workers in this country. Dealing with a political crisis as well. And I think the main point to be made tonight is that in this moment of crisis, it is imperative that we stand together.
So he pretty much felt strongly about this, and this was a press release that he did on a live stream campaign video that was done
although the president likes the idea of the payroll tax holiday.
March 17th, actually. So, people have had these ideas, for weeks now. So it's a good thing that Khanna and Tim Ryan actually put this through, because they really, set the stage for a conversation about this on Capitol Hill in Congress too, also as well. And people like, as we showed the AOC, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, she felt very strongly about this too, also as he made a lot of good points there that he brought up. The congressman from New Jersey, Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont and presidential candidate also introduced the idea on March 17th that we should give $2,000 a month to every American. And also President Donald Trump. He has not said a whole lot about this particular topic, but he did weigh in on it too also as well. And, in his White House briefing on April 19th, and also on other several occasions, he had also weighed in on the possibility of giving out more checks, more payments.
Let's go. Your ratings are terrible. You got to get back to real news. Go ahead.
The first of the month is next week. So for people that are worried about whether or not they're going to see a stimulus check again next month, will there be another stimulus check?
We're looking at it. We're talking about it. It's the delivery's been very good, as you know. People are getting them, and they're happy. It's saving lives. We will let you know when it's appropriate, but we're not going to let our people suffer. And you've seen that. By the way, you've seen that better than anyone. And you people have actually covered it, okay. But you've seen what's going on. And we got those checks out to people. It saved their lives. Nobody else could have done it. Nobody else could have done it. And I'm very happy if we get this new check out to the workers in these essentially to the workers in these small businesses, the PPP, we're going to be very happy, because as we open, those businesses are going to open along with us. Yeah.
So President Donald Trump, he had also made statements before, other than this in the White House briefing. He made statements on other occasions too, also as well, pertaining to this, because people are continuously asking him about, more checks too also. And Trump, he told a news conference that, quote, we could very well do a second round of direct payments too also as well. So this bill has support from Democrats and Republicans, surprisingly enough, and I mean, it's a thing where we wonder, do Republicans even support this thing? But here's an article here coming from commondreams.org, where it says, even Republican voters support $2,000 a month payments. And they did a poll here that they shared from the Appeal. And it says a majority of Americans, including over half of Republican respondents, support a monthly $2,000 universal basic income check to help defray the effects of the ongoing outbreak on the U.S. economy, according to a new poll from Data for Progress and the Justice Collaborative Institute. So this bill has, it's going to have a lot of support too also as well. The bad thing about this bill is that it could cost $8.4 trillion if they do it for 1 year. Okay, so it may be done on a month-to-month basis as they assess the situation. Okay, so that's pretty much how long I believe it's possible it could last. It could be reassessed every month as the situation with the pandemic gets new data that comes out, that's being reported from the states too also as well. Another thing is there's a possibility that these payments may end up being less than $2,000 a month because of the costs, right? Now, we all know this is going to cost a lot to pay Americans every month, to pay everyone payments every month, okay? Now, the good thing and the good news is that Khanna and Tim Ryan were successful in passing the first $1,200 check that was introduced to Congress. So on that success that they had the first time, hopefully they will be successful the second time too also as well. But however, Congress is not in session right now until May 4th. So hopefully that does not affect the passing of this bill in a negative way. But as we shared the video before, Nancy Pelosi is pretty much on vacation till May 4th. So do we have to wait until she comes back on May 4th? Because, keep in mind that we need Nancy Pelosi to pass this bill. We need the Speaker of the Senate, the leader of the Senate, Republicans, also as well to pass this bill, as well as, we need enough votes in the United States representatives. And we also need President Trump, to sign off on the bill too also as well. Now, Nancy Pelosi, she says that she supports getting more money into the hands of Americans. So that's a good news right there. Okay. Because like I said, the $1,200 a month check is just simply not enough. It's just not going to cut it, especially if the lockdowns in some of the states and the majority of the states are going to be, longer than a month. A lot of people have been locked down for over a month now. If this lasts 2-3 months, people need more than just one $1,200 checks. And half of the people have received the checks, and more than half of the people have not received their checks yet, too also as well. So, like I said, one $1,200 check is just simply not enough. So, in a nutshell, it's $2,000 a month. If you're a couple, it's $4,000 a month plus $500 per child, up to 3 children. So if you want more, if you want to look over this bill like in full detail, then I will definitely share it here on the screen so you guys can check it out. Just scroll down through it. So you guys can take a good look at it here. But we do have live streams every Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Central Time here on our channel, How to Get an 800 Credit Score, LLC. And, we look forward to seeing a lot of you there. And we talk about credit, how to build credit, how to get approved for mortgages, lines of credit, how to get excellent credit. And we also talk about improving your credit profile too also as well. So join us every Wednesday night at 8:15 p.m. Central Time here on this channel, How to Get an 800 Credit Score, LLC. We look forward to seeing you there soon. And from all of us here, from Bridget, Panda, Janelle, myself, all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score family, stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.